Or any of you out there, people with a green thumb? You're all too humble. Oh, someone nodded. Yes, good. Humbly, she nodded. It dawned on me as I heard the readings that in order to bear good fruit in our lives, we have to trust in God. And many times we don't see the growth that we would like in our own lives or maybe in our families at the speed we would like. But that comes back to faith and trust. So how do we do this? What can we do to help grow in trust? Well, one thing is that yesterday, Father Fred, Father Pinto, Father Bobby, and I had a day of recollection. It was actually the first we've ever done as a group together. And we went to this exotic place far, far away called East Freetown. Actually, it's not a resort community. It's only 30 minutes away, but it's a parish by the name of St. John Neumann. And it is also the location of a former Catholic summer camp that I went to as a kid for about 7 days. That's another story. I want you to picture, it's a beautiful location on a lake surrounded by tall oak trees and all sorts of wildlife. And as we began our day, I shared with them that the first time I was ever there, I was just 9 years old. It's hard to believe that's only 20 years ago. Oh, you're listening. It was actually 1974 when Nixon resigned, for you trivia fans. Well, while there, I thought about the passage of time and how our understanding of God and his guidance in our lives can grow. But it can grow when we take the time to pray and reflect on what's going on both inside of our minds and hearts and also around us, especially in our families. At times we need a change of scenery. We need this change of routine. We need a time to disconnect from our phones and the constant temptation to text and email and surf the net. Part of what we discussed was Pope Benedict XVI's letter to priests about the priest's three munera, or the priest's three duties. And they are to teach, to sanctify, and to lead. All those entrusted to us. It's part of the beauty of being a priest. You never know who's going to be entrusted. Everyone. The reality is that each priest relies on the grace of God to do each one of these tasks. And we cannot do it properly without being in full communion with God. Today's Saint Irenaeus is another great role model for all Christians. He taught about the authentic teachings of Jesus, and he helped to clarify the errors and the misunderstandings in the second century. And he did so in a way that brought about peace. I was asking Riley, one of our interns, trivia question, do you know what the Greek for Irenaeus stands for? And the answer is peace. Each one of us, in our own way, is called to be like Saint Irenaeus. If we want what is best for our family members and ourselves to live these fruitful lives, we need to know the truth of the gospel and the teachings of the church found in the catechism and other documents. Every mother and father is entrusted with the teaching of the faith to their children. This includes enrolling them in religious ed, helping them in their studies, fully participating in the sacramental life of the church. It includes teaching them how to pray, beginning the first prayer of making the sign of the cross and praying for your family and your friends. And I would also recommend the rosary. There's no better time to start praying the rosary than as a child. But the challenge for all of us is to do what St. Irenaeus reminded his flock, and that is to not only know the truth of the gospel, but also to attend to the purity of our souls and our bodies. We all know that we're more effective witnesses and teachers to Jesus' gospel when we both know and live it. Your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and your nephews, they can see authentic and joyful Christian living when we have that full communion with God without a fear of hypocrisy or lack of commitment. The world's changed a lot since the second century of St. Irenaeus and even 1974. But some things stay the same. Our human nature, the truth of the gospel message, and the call of God to live good and holy lives. And when we fall short, that great gift of being healed and forgiven in the sacrament of confession. My brothers and sisters, may we take the time with our family this summer to look at our lives, to look at our families, to look at the ways that Jesus is calling us to grow in holiness, and how we can help each other along the way, including bearing good fruit and finding peace in our homes.